So, welcome again at the TÜV SÜD Insights, the World Hydrogen Congress in Rotterdam. I'm now with Henrik from the DHL Group. Henrik, nice to have you here. To start with, perhaps, the DHL Group, it's a large logistics company. So, can you perhaps explain a bit what's your role in it and what it has to do with hydrogen?
Yes, sure. Thank you and good morning. Yes, as you said, DHL is a huge logistics company. We operate in aviation, road transport, but also in marine transport. And we have a huge carbon footprint and have launched a carbon roadmap in 2021 that paves the way towards our 2030 decarbonization target, which is very ambitious. And this is of such magnitude that we need a central department that coordinates our efforts to reducing our emissions. And that's the department that I work in. It's called Clean Operations within the corporate strategy team. And there we support our business units in identifying the right options to decarbonize. As a logistics company, this is all related to fuels, or rather sustainable fuels, meaning that in the end, hydrogen, either in its direct form or in form of its derivatives, will play a role in our decarbonization journey.
Yeah, that sounds interesting because I see a lot of DHL trucks running on electric, like battery electric. So far, I didn't see anything around hydrogen. So could you perhaps explain a bit what role hydrogen will play, for example, in the decarbonization targets of the DHL Group?
Yes, and that's actually a very relevant observation that you mentioned here. So yes, we are making a lot of progress on electrification of road transport and even trucks, not only vans, as a couple of years ago. Also, we use a lot of biofuels already in the aviation sector and in marine shipping, but we hardly use hydrogen at all yet. We have done some pilots on hydrogen trucks, but we don't really see this being commercially available yet, not even at a premium, but just not being available yet. We are doing pilots, we are in cooperation with the OEMs for the trucks, but we don't really see them to being available yet. Similar with hydrogen-based sustainable aviation fuels, we do see a lot of projects being in preparation, but most of them have not passed the final investment decision, or even less have started to produce fuels. So, to be honest, at the moment, we are a bit disappointed about the progress that hydrogen solutions have made in the past 5 years. We are working with suppliers and hope to do our part in accelerating this, but it's a long way to go, I think.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go. Yeah. That's true. But you would be willing to get into discussions around offtake agreements, because I think there's a lot of project developers watching, probably.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
And in contact with Henrik.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And we are in discussions with many companies like these. And we have also entered into offtake agreements on bio-based fuels. We are one of the largest operators of an electric fleet. So I think we have proven we are also willing to spend a higher price on this. We know this doesn't come as cost parity as for fossil fuels, but still some of the details need to be figured out. So we're not ready to sign anything yet, but we are willing to pay a higher price for this. We know it comes at a cost premium.
But at the end, you're a service provider towards your customers. And at the end, if you go towards a decarbonized fleet, which is connected with a bit some extra costs, your customer needs to pay. So do you see a pull effect from the market? So are your customers asking you for a more decarbonized solution?
Yes, we certainly do see a pull effect here. And in the end, we do this primarily for our customers to serve them in the future as a carbon neutral logistics service provider at some point in time. And we do see, let's say, a big variation in the demand. But there are a lot of companies, especially large international companies, that have very ambitious climate targets themselves. And we, as their logistics provider, are part of their footprint. So they ask us to decarbonize for them. And we do see a willingness to pay a premium for real green transport solutions. And with real green, I mean not including offsetting, but green solutions. And as said, they are willing to pay a price, but of course they do request to be able to claim that in their own carbon footprint, to claim it towards their own climate targets. And this is not as easy as it sounds. We do see a lot of uncertainty on what kind of information do they need, how does the accounting of the emission reductions need to take place so that they can actually claim it. And here we work also with different organizations towards an industry standard, but we're not there yet. And I think that is often forgotten. It's not only about technology and availability of technology, but to making sure all the accounting standards are in place, because in the end, that's the reward you get for paying the higher price, to claim this against your climate targets as a
Definitely, 100% agree. So it's an important topic, and you know that we as TÜV SÜD, we're working on it also for a long time, how to calculate it based on international standards. But perhaps as one last question, because I mean, you are a global company, and often also at this conference last year and this year it's going to be the same, funding schemes or subsidiaries in different regions of the world. And often there's a comparison between the United States, the IRA, and the European subsidies. So do you see a different impact of the different approaches on your business, for example?
Yes, certainly. And I would say from today's perspective, the funding schemes in the United States are a bit more effective. We see a lot of activities there, a lot of projects that are actually passing the final investment decision. So we expect the United States to remain or be the largest producer of sustainable aviation fuels. I'm focusing a bit on aviation fuels now because that's more of a global market, to remain the largest producer or be the largest producer of that throughout the 2020s. At the same time, we see a focus on more established technologies. Namely, this is the HEFA-based bio-SAF. We don't really see hydrogen-based projects there, or at least not too many. There we see more activity in Europe and also other parts of the world. And to my understanding, this is partially triggered, again, in the sustainable aviation fuel space from the blending mandate that has a sub-mandate on what they call RFNBOs in the EU. I would call it power-based SAF or eSAF. And here we see that this blending mandate might trigger some investment decisions on those fuels. But then the blending mandate is at a relatively low limit, a level 2% in 2030. So that doesn't really turn the needle yet. So I think here a combination of both systems would likely be most effective, making sure there's a certain mandatory minimum level and then some incentives to go beyond for those companies that are willing to do so.
So then I just can say thank you very much, Henrik, for these insights on the decarbonization journey of the DHL group. And I'm looking very much forward to see the first hydrogen-based DHL truck on the road.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.